Ashish, can you check if it's live on Facebook?
Sure.
No, not you. Right. We are live, guys.
You need me to use, uh, you can hear me clearly?
Sorry.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
can hear
I
you.
hope
Yeah, we can hear you.
we can clear each other. We can hear each other, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So here we are. Welcome, guys. I, on behalf of Let's Talk and whole team and everyone present here, would like to give you a very warm welcome and a very big thank you for being here with us. So today, during the time of uncertainty, what we are going to talk is a very certain topic called mental health. You know, the time which we are facing right now is something which has been, something which has been never anyone has been prepared for it. And as per the new guidelines and new things which we are facing, to keeping care of your mental health is equally important. And I would like to understand your guys' perspective because you belong to an industry where everything is like, you guys are socially so, so you are so active socially and going out and everything. And now all of a sudden, everything is at hold and we all are home and with our family. So I would just like to know a bit of your experiences and all. But before that, I would like to introduce everyone here. So we have Mr. Shikhar Dhawan here with us, who definitely does not need any kind of introduction. He himself is like a icon for many of us. Like he has been an opening batsman for Indian cricket team, which is a very proud thing for all of us. And then we have Mrs. Ayesha Dhawan, who is launching herself into authentic parenting coach, where she'll be creating and empowering, inspiring families all over the world using storytelling and one-to-one coaching. Her passion and purpose in life is to create generation of future leaders who lead with integrity and values. Very welcome to both of you here.
Thank
Thank you
you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
And
Hello, everyone.
then we have Mr. Andre. Andre is like he's also a person who doesn't require any kind of introduction, but I would just like to add two or three lines about him because if I'll start talking, it will be a very huge thing. Yeah, because his establishments and income are so big, it will be very difficult to describe in two or three lines. So Andre and Sabbas both are founder or co-founder of Wizcraft International Entertainment. They have successfully completed and they have successfully organized many events like IIFA Awards and Michael Jackson India concert. And they are people with multiple talents and multiple leadership qualities which we should learn about. Apart from that, Sabas is like a general secretary of Media and Entertainment Skill Development Council. I would like to welcome both of you here on the show. A very warm
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you. Lovely to meet you, Shikhar and Aisha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Same here.
Though it's a virtual meeting.
Yeah, it's a virtual
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah, it's like a new
It,
normal
yeah. It's a new normal in the virtual world.
in the virtual world, new normal. Yes. So, how are you guys doing with the whole lockdown thing? We'll start with Sabas first.
Yeah.
Uh, Living with the new normal lockdown, uh, working from home, working more from through Zoom calls and Cisco systems, depending on who has what system at their home and functioning with that. Work goes on almost as usual, but it's more work at a different pace. Sometimes you find yourself moving very fast. Sometimes you're slowed down just by the fact that you're not able to connect with people. You miss the human contact. You miss meeting your friends, meeting your colleagues, and being able to see the energy in each other's eyes and entire beings itself. But that's what life is, and you've got to make the best of it. It's not work in the house too. So you become part of the entire household. rather than just being out of the house. Now you're looking at cleaning and mopping and maybe looking at the utensils. How can I cook? How can I be part of the entire kitchen brigade and really be part of the story? So you don't want to leave
Oh,
yourself behind. You want to make sure that the burden is not felt by only the other members of the family. So it's all about it, and it's about sharing and caring.
right, right, right. It must
Well,
be a very new experience for you talking about mopping and utensils all together.
It's not a new experience, but definitely a very new experience.
I think taking off from what Sabbas is saying and actually just linking to, we've been together for almost 32 years in this business, and we also have a third partner is like Amar Akbar Anthony, Andre Viraf and
Okay,
Sabbas. but
okay.
but to take from what Sabbas is saying, yes, it's in this last few weeks that the changes that have come around, where you actually, like you said, you're working with the new normal, where you're working from home, this kind of thing we've never seen in our lifetime. If you ask somebody that, do you think something like this will happen, they'll say, are you crazy, are you mad, you know and to try to maintain this momentum, you know, in terms of adapting to this new way of functioning, which is going to carry on for some time in life, you know, and the timing of sleep and day. I think the way I've looked at things is that for me to get up in the morning is slightly tough, but I've kind of got my mind to get kind of set and focused on, I got my morning prayers, playing with my kids, breakfast, a routine. I've set a routine in my mind, Then of course, like Sabas said, that it's all about these, calls that we're doing. And I don't think in 32 years I've spent so much time with my both my co-directors and my staff and with everybody, strategizing, focusing, and working, because our job was one event to another event.
Right.
If I ask Sabas in pre-corona, hey, listen, we got to meet at 4 o'clock. Oh, I've got this meeting, I've got that. But today, everybody's on time. If there's a call at 12, people are on call at 12, and we are strategizing. But most important thing is, I've kind of kept my mind focused, in terms of these meetings, strategizing, walks, dinner. I've also started eating healthier. So things like that, that has brought me around. And also the fact, which I'm learning now, Sabas is ex-journalist, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Learning is to do a to-do list. So each day what
Right.
you need to do, and then you focus on it. And that is something that's actually building my thought process, instead of actually procrastinating and lazy, sleeping in the bed, not getting up. Uh, I think that's what's keeping me going.
Right. So how you are actually managing your mental health during this time, which is like a question of world right now. UN and WHO, everyone is more concerned about the mental health, about for each and everyone around the globe. So mental health has been a topic which has been discussed very, very thoroughly so far. So how you guys are you know keeping yourself mentally fit or mentally healthy? I would like to know from you, Shikhar and Aisha, please.
Um, Basically, we've sort of looked at this situation as a growing platform. So we've actually been able to maybe start new habits and new behaviors that we've always wanted to do, but like, mentioned before, we've been too busy to. So things such as learning to play a new instrument or learning a new skill or developing, like I really took on a more of a aggressive role in setting up my business now because I had the time, be it creativity with my child. So I feel like this also has a really, really good opportunity if you care to see it from that angle. And because I have my son with me who's 6, I really had to think about the role model for him. So if I sort of really didn't, or I went against the situation and I felt that pressure, then you know what, my behavior and my actions would also go on to him. So we sort of made a decision early on that we'll use it as a growth stage. We'll use it to reconnect as a family. We lived so many years apart. We actually looked at it as a blessing to create a foundation. We created new games with our son. You know, we also got involved in so many new things.
Absolutely. And same with me when I knew that I have to stay in for 2-3 months, and especially we travel so much, like all the other guests as well. I made up my mind that okay, you know what, I have to work on it. So I always make sure I work on my emotional health a lot. I really focus on it because at the end of the day, it's all about emotional health or mental health. As Andrew said, that I made it my own routine as well. For me as a cricketer, I have to. This is a very good time to prepare myself, work on my fitness and creating good eating habits at the same time. So I was doing that, and especially with my wife and my son, because I was never used to living with them. Especially we lived in a long distance relationship as well. So it was a rather than challenge, I would say an opportunity for me. I always see things as opportunity now. So I said, okay, uh, with my wife, if I can stay very very calm and composed with my wife, I can handle anyone out in the world because I'm going to spend the most time with her. So that's the promise I made it to myself. That of course some situation comes when you can get bit angry or something. To control that moment, I really enjoyed to have a control in those moments. And it happened with us, but then I went on a back seat. I know that okay, I have to be quiet here, or she has to be quiet there. So those things, and you can pass on that hurdle with a very silent manner. I really enjoy it, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And like Sabbas ji, I've been doing housework as well, little bit, not that much. I made few videos, but I didn't do that much.
Aisha must be very happy about it.
Sorry, listen.
I like
He's
like I water the
possessed.
gardens.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's
I
like
said Aisha must be very happy about it.
Yeah, you know what? To see a Delhi boy doing that much, I am quite happy.
That's
It's
really
actually
interesting.
been it's actually has not disturbed us too much mentally,
Nah.
to be honest, because first of all, we sort of we wanted to be the representation for my son, and we understood very early on the more you push against what is, that's what's going to cause you suffering. So now we have more quality over quantity, I guess, and I see it that way. So we don't fight what is, we just create something new from the situation.
That's really so awesome. So how actually I would just like to understand one simple thing, like, whole world has been talking about this particular word called mental health. As we all know, it's very important and all, but how do you think like a mental health impacts upon the person near to you, or your family or your friends or whom you are surrounded with? How do you think like your mental health is impacting them, or people near and dear to you? So can you please elaborate a bit? I would like to know this from Andre, please.
Well, I think I forgot to tell you earlier. About 7-8 years ago, I went through a 3-year stint of anxiety and not so much depression, but more anxiety because our work that we are in, right? We are in the events, entertainment, and media. Everything in our events is about live, right? Nothing is, there's no retake. In our life, everything is live. And everything is now or yesterday. You know what I mean? The one thing that we have to learn and especially now in this lockdown scenario, everybody now is giving time, and we are all asking for time. Others previously it was just moving from one event to another event and not realizing your state. And when I went through this anxiety uh, personally for 3 years, it was actually very tough for me in the beginning, extremely tough. I used to go in for meetings, and then next thing I knew, after the meeting, I've admitted myself in the hospital. Doctors, doctors became kind of. I knew every doctor that I was going in Mumbai hospital. I had, made friends with all the doctors, keeping in mind because it was so severe. I used to carry depression pills, anxiety tablets, and everything. And I used to wonder, like, how am I going to get cured? Because ultimately doctors can give you medicines, right? But how do you actually, overcome this, and to let you know that it took me 3 years, but actually, what came out of this whole thing was that I started controlling my mind,
Okay.
and when I would go for meetings, and with especially with IIFA, I used to travel probably 6 months in a year, and that is to be a nightmare, traveling for meetings, traveling alone. I used to get extremely scared, and of course, I used to pop few pills to calm myself down, and slowly, I started understanding that it's all in the mind, and it's all about overcoming it. And it took me 3 years to overcome it, and today I must tell you that I'm absolutely fit. I've got no anxiety, no depression, nothing. I overcome it, and at that time, people around me had a lot of a lot of tough time, kind of understanding what was happening to me. And at that time, I always felt that I'm the guy alone going through this. Till I got to know a lot of other people in the world also go through this. And the one thing I want to say is that you always got to be positive. You got to action your mind in what you want to think. A lot of us think of the negativities. We don't think of the positives. Today, in this lockdown, while people say, oh, you talk to anybody, they say, oh, the world has come to an end. Oh, my business is going to crash. There's a financial crisis. This is not happening. But I genuinely feel uh, that, and I'm sure Sabbas will second me, we have spent more time as partners. We have strategized, we have focused, we're looking at the goods, we are looking at the good side of what we want to do. And we've never ever connected either with our family members, our relations, our staff, our colleagues in such a way that we've done now. So I just want to tell everybody that you got to think positive, stay focused, and let's just saying, don't give up and don't give in.
Right.
And that's what I keep saying to myself when I wake up, in the morning, is that don't give up and don't give in, stay positive, and there's a light at the tunnel, and things will be good.
That's such a precious advice from you. I would really, if personally, I would really wanted to, give you a tight hug for this. Like, what things you have admitted is it's such a difficult thing. I'm sure, like the phase must have been really very difficult. But at the same time, we are so proud of you that you came out of it and you have done it and you have managed it so well. Sabas, how would you like to explain about this thing? Like you have been with him for, very good number of years and you have seen him going through all these things. So what is your take about it?
Well, Andre is one of those fantastic, gregarious kind of persons who engages with people. And in engaging with people, you'd never believe that he could go through something like this because you'd believe that he was always on top of the world. He was the best friend to everybody and the best friend to anybody when they're in need. And that is what he was going through. And he almost became almost like a hypochondriac, completely alarming. I mean, he'd be on a flight and he'd be carrying his doctor's kit with him to check his blood pressure, to check. I mean, literally, it was a mini doctor. So we used to call it the mini Andre kit. So
Okay.
so literally it was that. But I mean, the reality is this: that I think it took a lot for him to get control of himself, understand himself, and then be able to deal with it. And I think it taught all of us a lesson too. And all of us, in the course of looking at Andre and what he was going through, became very conscious of our own selves, how we were conducting
Right.
ourselves, the lifestyle we were leading, etc. And in his going through that, probably he saved all of us. And that's the reality. And like today, I mean, if you look at what I'm doing, I mean, I'm very, very conscious that the world begins with me. But the world
Okay.
will begin with me and end with me only if I'm conscious of everyone around me because they make me, they complete me.
Right.
So be it in business, be it in the work, the management team, the
Support.
work team, or even my wife, my son, and my daughter who's in Boston. But the more you're engaged with them, the more you're listening to them, the more you understand yourself. Because they're not talking to you about themselves only. They're talking to you in consonance of how they relate to you and what is
Right.
expected of you. And if you begin to be conscious of others, you actually gain consciousness of yourself. And that for me has been a big learning. So I run a routine, but I break the routine because I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do it. I'll find some other time to do it. Being happy, being conscious of yourself and your own happiness has become more important than just running around in the rat race.
Absolutely.
Nah,
That's Sabbas.
very, very insightful. Actually, very, very insightful. So now I would like to ask one question to Mr. Shikhar Dhawan as well. Like you have been into a profession where everything is like, about your physical fitness. Like the more physical fit you are, the more you perform well in the ground and everything. It's basically a sports which we talk about. And it's always believed like, a sports person has to be very physically fit. So how do you define, your mental health as how important for you your mental health is? If you have to be physically fit and you have to perform well in the ground, how does your mental health is helping you out?
It both goes hand in hand. To play any sort of cricket, you have to be, intelligent as well, and for sure, your reflexes has to be that good. That's why you work so hard on physical fitness that your reflexes are so quick that once your mind tells you to do this, so in that fraction of second you have to do that. And but at the same time, mentally you have to be very very strong, because when we play, so like when I'm batting, I can go in bowler's mind and I make him do what I want him to do. I'll pressure him. Like if a bowler is bowling and he's bowling good, I'll do something different. So I'll get him out of his subconscious mind and I'm going to get him into a conscious mind. And I'll know if I do something cheeky, he will give me some, he'll give some error, and that's where I'm going to get on top of it. So, like example, if a bowler bowled me short ball, I hit for pull, I know that next ball he'll bowl me up, so I am ready for that as well. So we pre-planned as well while playing a match, and it's a good fun to get into somebody's mind and get things done the way we want it, and vice versa. Ballers also do that to us. They and it is very important to be mentally fit as well, because in my field, in any field, there's lots of competition and everything. Like every tour, there's a new team, so you have to keep performing and to live with it. So if you, as Andre said, if you keep focusing on that, then you will always be anxious about it and all that stuff. Whereas I am a big believer in process, and in my process, my skill thing, my fitness thing, and my mental peace. If I'm at peace, if I'm at ease, I will I will achieve my best. So whatever my best is, I will achieve that. But if I'm like as I said earlier, I've said earlier as well, I used to compete. I used to compete. Then what happened once I started competing with my partners? So I used to compare, and then once you compare, jealousy comes in as well. So now I don't compete with anyone. I just compete with myself, and I'm in my own world. I know the strategies and all that stuff. I've been in this field for 25 years, so I know the business in and out, and I'm in my own world, and I just carry on with that. So that keeps me very very positive. I'm vibrating on a very higher energy, and things done easily for me. So I live a very light and a easy life that way. So that's where spirituality has helped me to get myself more better as a, first of all, as a human being, then as a cricketer as well. So it helped me in both. So where sorry, I'm taking a bit long. Where else
Your
I
time.
Please go ahead.
I feel that like now once after 25 years I'm seeing these things, whereas when I started it, I should have get that knowledge first and worked with that thing first. So that's
Okay.
what I will suggest those who ever are listening, that you will learn the right information, take the right information, how to live a life first internally, and then take the outside thing. So then it will go much more
And
better.
and I just want to add something, like with physical fitness, I feel like the body can take you so far. So, like, if you look at elite athletes in all sports, the body does take you so far, but then it's the mind that takes you that extra bit. And winners, or people that achieve high scale, success in sports, it's the edge, it's the mind. So it's like, first of all, you have to have a place of peace, which is, your calmness. You come from there. And then how do you use your mind so that you create that extra little bit so that you can finish? Like if someone's running a race, you've seen so many people that come from the back and then they finish first. That's the mind. That's the power of the mind as well. So mind is very, very important. you know, even though body is important, but mind actually takes you to that next level.
Yeah, that's very
So
true.
well said.
Very, very well said. Very inspiring as well. So, like, what are the techniques which you guys, which you adopt actually to keep yourself mentally fit, or how do you connect yourself mentally first and physically second, as we said, and as we all know, like it's all in your mind, and you have to be strong with your mind if you have to achieve something. It's always said what you want first comes to your mind. So, how do you justify this thing? Sabas?
Ah, actually, I've never been really conscious of it because I've never really required that kind of an intervention or extra consciousness. But listening to both Aisha and Shikhar speak and Andre speak, I can say that, uh, you have to be very confident about who you are, what you are, and about your values. And if you've got your values right, and you're consciously trying to give back, trying to create a world with a higher plane, you tend to be in control of the world and control of yourself more than anything else. So that's one. Two, the second part has been is when I've gotten to work, I've given it my all. When I've gotten to my family, I've given it my all. So giving of yourself completely has always helped. Second, the third part is this. I think there must be a healthy balance. Family, work, friends, contributing to society, being part of sport, being part of culture. I think a holistic life literally helps you stay in control and stay kind of floating in the right space. So that for me would be what I'd come as top of mind, but it's not a processed answer, and I'm not really a specialist in that. I just love listening to Shikhar and Aisha speak about it because they simply seem to have it. I felt like an interruption coming in after that, but please continue. Thank you.
I think Sabas, yeah,
Yeah.
taking off from
No,
what you're, go ahead, Kanchan.
no. Please continue.
No, I'm saying exactly what Sabas was saying. I think everybody is made different and everybody's thought process is different. And I think, hearing both Aisha and Shikhar, actually I've learned something, is the fact that what I'm doing today with myself and what I was doing previously, was very different. I would like to start from what I'm doing today, and exactly what Shikhar said is that is developing of being a good human being, giving to whatever you need to do. Getting, I'm a person is about giving. Okay, and I think while you give, you also have to have balance in how you maintain that state of mind, because if you're doing something like Sabah said, and I think we all like that as human beings, if we are helping somebody, we'll help them through and through. If you're doing something for a family member, or if somebody's unwell, somebody's sick, somebody needs to come, we always make sure that it happens to a level where we also call back and check, is it happened, is not happened. And this process in this lockdown period, at least for me, has taught me that you can do a lot of things in a limited time span, and that's the important thing I'm taking home today in these 57 days. I could never imagine being at home with the family. My kids are sometimes fed up of me. Dad, you're at home, what are you doing? You're always on the phone or the computer. Spend time with us. And I spend time with them, in the nights before they go to sleep, and we have some quality time, we have some quality discussions. And so I think the most important thing is faith also. You know, and I'm a big believer of faith. Okay, and I think that is important. That actually, brings in the positive angles of your mind. It controls your mind. Okay, so and that's what I try to send out, because today all of us know with this WhatsApp and this phone, the amount of messages you're consuming on a daily basis, can corrupt your mind.
WhatsApp University.
So I think that's the learning.
Right, that's so amazing. Like, because being into the profession I am right now into, most of people or most of my clients, they have just one thing to ask. Like, we haven't faced this lockdown issues, and it is becoming very difficult for us to stay at home. And we just need some activity to do. And I keep on advising them that you don't have to go out to do any kind of activity. you being with your family, you spending time with your family, you doing things with your family and internally working on yourself is an activity which was always looked out. So this is the right time for you to utilize that particular time, this particular time, to enhance yourself, enhance your abilities, enhance your mental abilities, enhance anything which you are good at, or which anything which you have been missing all this while. But coming the same point from all of you guys, it was like, I guess, must be a very good experience and a very good learning from all over. I mean, so those who are listening to us right now. So before we end up, a very, very quick,
I
yeah,
just one thing. A
yes,
lot of
please.
people call up and say, the first thing people will say, hey, what's happening here? Oh, it's such a bad time we are going through. And
Yeah,
I always tell them, it's not the bad time that you're going through, it's a different time.
it's a different time. Yes.
Perspective, you know what I mean? And I think that's so important in the words. I learn a lot of this from Mr. Joseph. But it's important to cultivate, because those keep running in your mind.
Right. Okay, so I would just like to ask last question to Aisha and Shikhar both. Has there been any incidents in lockdown that has taken you off guard, like an unexpected googly or reverse swing? I'm sorry, I'm using your language.
Yeah.
To be honest, because we were living apart for so many years, we had a sense of coming together and being detached, coming together, even with our girls. Now they're in Australia, okay, and now me, Shikha, and Sarava are in India. Now we have always, encouraged that sort of healthy detachment as well. So just because we are not connected on such a level that we're used to outside, this sort of detachment shouldn't be looked upon as a negative aspect. So if the way I look at it is that this sort of time actually gets you to connect more with what's important, because I think we're just addicted to distractions. We think we want that world that we were living. It's because we are used to being distracted and overstimulated. But if you look at quality, this is quality. The first thing me and Shika did when this happened was thank nature. We were like, wow, the birds are flying. We can see more. Like, we were actually happy for nature. We actually used to wake up and have gratitude that we could see that the sky was clearing up, that it was blue sky in Delhi that I had never seen. So we actually started this process on such a different note. We didn't look at what we were missing out. We started seeing what we were seeing and gaining. So my son would be outside and I know it's blue skies for him. That was a positive. So we sort of started building slowly, and then we sort of realized, well, the googly for us was the fact that we didn't get affected. So the googly for us, that we didn't struggle, we didn't find it hard to like stay at home and stuff, because then we found we used to play games with our son that we'd make up, like random games. So then we started, once you start gratitude with one thing, it just adds to another thing. So we started it off on the right track. We didn't think of it as a negative. We was like, wow, look, nature is blossoming. And then it just led to another wow and another wow. And I think that's why it was different for us.
And for me, the googly was, I realized that my son is much fitter than me. He makes me run all day.
That's a wonderful.
Give me some water, please.
That's true.
That's wonderful.
And another thing for Aisha was that she'd been used to. Of course, we got two girls as well. They're living in Melbourne, so she'd been used to living with two girls, and we both boys are messy. Huh?
Horrible.
That's life. Enjoy it. Absolutely.
That's awesome. So, and in short, what would be your takeaway from all this, Andre?
Well, I think we were in the midst of, all our business as usual, and we had IIFA just probably 3 weeks away for it to happen, or 2 weeks away from it to happen. And, everybody said 2020 is going to be the most amazing year,
Yeah.
and suddenly when this thing started actually hitting us, right? Okay. And that in the end of Feb, in the beginning of March, it was just slowly coming out. And actually, when it hit us, it really took us off guard in terms of saying, now what next? Business is at a standstill. We all know entertainment and media will get first hit,
Right.
especially our business, where it's all about the people, it's all about relation, it's the people, it's about creating events for our corporate clients, for our large government events that we do, which is all about right from 500 people to 50,000 people. I think this really in the beginning shook us up, and we did not know what hit us. We did not know what was going to happen next. And that actually got us a little off balance, at least got me off balance, because when you're living in this uncertainty and you're just living with, you don't know what's going to happen next, then how do you plan? What do you do? And I know the first 2 weeks of March, after the 14th or 15th, and when the lockdown actually was declared, everybody had so many speculations going around, and slowly by slowly it was, dheere se jhatka, and you would keep, you would keep going. But the important thing in that, the three of us, that's Viraf, Sabbas, and me, we actually got together and said, listen, we need to now, fight this, and let's level what we need to do. And, see, ultimately our business is about dreaming. Our business,
Right.
Is about dreaming. It's about doing things which is impossible. Like you rightly said, when we did Michael Jackson, we were very young. Nobody even dreamt that Michael Jackson would come to India. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or so many incidents. So even this was an incident and a challenging time for us. We faced challenges, but not challenges that we couldn't fight. And I think we three put our heads together. We spent close to about, if I'm not mistaken, close to about 25 to 28 days non-stop for about 6-7 hours, discussing the company, discussing things. And I can only say one thing, that right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm so positive. I'm so collective in my thoughts. I know exactly what I'm going to do for the next 5 years. I know what I want to put together. I'm connecting with clients. I'm connecting with all my friends. And I think this is made us better. And I think post-COVID, this is only going to, we're going to deliver much more. The world is going to come out and do much more things. Like Aisha was talking about the nature. It's a fact. Nature's a different world. You know what I mean? We would love our kids to be with nature. Like how we were brought up with, gully danda and, marbles, climbing up the mango tree, playing in mud. Today, the kids are, today life was different. No, it's all about iPads, all about electronics. It's like my parents would say, 7 o'clock, lights come on, come home. Today, we tell our kids, please go out. Why are you staying at home? So
Yeah.
the whole, a lot of these thoughts are coming back. And I think, I'm sure Sabbas will have a lot to say about what I said, is that I just feel more stronger with my company, my people, as we call them, Wizzes. All our staff are called Wizzes, and I feel incredibly happy.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Will you like to add something, Sabbas?
Well, I think the entire world is in reset mode.
Yes.
Nature's resetting, business is being reset, the economy is being reset, your personal life is being reset, and your work in your business is going to be reset consequently. I think it takes a while to get yourself to accept the situation you're in. And in many ways, yes, we took a long period, 28 days, 29 days, just to go from, no, nothing is happening. It won't affect us. We are larger than life. It won't affect us. We find a way out, to realizing that, hello, wake up. This is the new reality. Forget new normal, etc. This is the new reality. And then you begin to accept it. Once you begin to accept it, you begin to respond to it. And so resetting has taken place. My own personal life and what you were talking about is family has been reset, because I would spend more time outside the house. I'm at home. I've spent more time at home currently than I've probably spent in my entire lifetime. One. Two is, I think if you looked at my wife and me, we'd probably have an argument a day or maybe two a day. And we've gone through the last 58 days and not a single argument. No reason to. So that's beautiful. I mean, with my son, that much better. You are a little bit calmer in the world. And when you look at it, actually, we are blessed. We have so much more than we require. We have everything else that others don't. And you really begin to live life and begin to realize the value of frugality. How little you need to actually live and how little you need to actually succeed. You know, and that's really the big realization.
Absolutely.
Really, really insightful and really wonderful. Actually, sharing experience from your personal life and your knowing more about the way you guys are keeping yourself mentally and physically healthy. Amazing to know. I'm sure people out here would also be enjoying and would like to take a one or two bit of advice which you guys have given, which is really very precious as per me. So with this, I would like to end our session here, which was really insightful, no doubt. And as Shikharji rightly said that, there are certain things which we always want since beginning to have been attached with us, or we should have adopted certain habits which are very important for us, but we realize bit late. But I always say it's never too late, guys. It's never a wrong time for you to start working about your mental health and keeping yourself mentally healthy. So yes, this is how we are. And I would like to say, as I always say, happiness is the key. And again, we all are here and there is a amount of happiness which has actually brought five of us here together. So please be stay happy, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you, Thank you, Aisha. Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Andre.
Thank
Thank
you, Andre. Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.